Welcome back, and today we are playing out the Yak 130 with 120 round on the water pistol. Now I am going to be getting quite a few kills with very little ammo, so at the start here I'll just have a little bit of a compilation as we talk about the strengths and weaknesses of what this plane actually can do. Because honestly, in a 1v1 it's pretty strong. Keep in mind, you're not going to be beating a MiG-17, you're not going to be beating CL-13Bs, stuff like that, but it's a very ergonomic flight model and it's incredibly easy to line up your gun. Although hitting with the gun is a little bit of a different story because we have a very slow velocity cannon with very little ammo, which means that preferably we just get really close and barrel stuff people like you are actually using a water pistol with sulfuric acid, because if you hit someone with these rounds, it's a big caliber, it's high fire rate, they are going to explode 9 out of 10 times. Most of the times I've hit someone, they ended up dying, and it just really feels like this every time. The gun is pretty damn good, but the issue is you have to get close, and the plane just isn't fast enough to do so. So you really need to lure people into these dogfights, and if you do, the plane feels fantastic. The low speed control is insane, the high speed control is pretty good, and the retention is as well. Although at medium speed it kind of turns into a bit of a brick, so you really need to be careful about sitting around 670 kilometers an hour IAS. You really want to avoid this kind of speed range because, well, the plane just kind of turns into a brick. And above that you need to be careful that you don't G-lock yourself, because it happens pretty easily. Now I'm running expert crew. On the last couple of games I did have ace, but overall the plane handles fantastically. It feels a little bit like an Alpha Jet, and if you watched the video that I made on that pretty recently, you know that I said that that gun is all about long range, and at close range it's an absolute bitch to aim. This is basically the other way around. The plane feels like playing Call of Duty. The plane does exactly what you want. It doesn't matter what orientation you're in, it doesn't matter if you're inverted, you're rolling, he is on the top right of your screen, you just point your cursor on him and the plane will move in that direction. And that is the benefit of having a very ergonomic plane. You can basically just play it with your mind off and engage people willy-nilly, and you're probably going to get away with actually killing them as long as you can line up the cannon properly, because again the lead is kind of an issue and so is the ammo count, and that is going to be the main drawback of this vehicle together with the speed. And the issue is that these two issues compound each other, making it pretty dreadful to play if you are just not very used to aerobie. It's a plane for experienced players and it's fun, it's definitely ergonomic and good at getting kills, and is overall actually kind of brain dead, because if you know how to position yourself, the individual engagements of this thing are pretty easy. I said that the CL-13B and the MiG-17 kind of blow it out of the water, and this is true, but keep in mind we are not fighting elite level players, we are fighting aerobie where position and just the overall scenario is always different. And if you have a little bit of an advantage, maybe he's carrying slightly more fuel, it's close enough to the point where you can dumpster anyone by just kind of putting your cursor on them. And that is great. The issue is that when you run into multiple people or you have to navigate a battlefield, it becomes a little bit more difficult because we again don't have flares and we don't really have speed. So you really need to be careful about where you plop yourself on the map, because if you don't, well, you are probably going to be put on a t-shirt. Here comes an Ariete that really hoped to find some Yak 130s, and he definitely did. As we merge underneath him, we're going a little bit slower, and he's bound to overshoot because he is not managing his energy whatsoever. And if Ariete follow a flowchart, they want to go vertical because that's what the plane is good at. So after I position myself above him, I'm gonna wait for him to start going up, go low speed, wait for him to try and stall me out, and then just simply pull in, because the low speed control of this thing is absolutely ridiculous. So we drop the flaps, we line up the gun, and then blow his entire tail off, including the engine. Now we then spend another 4 minutes trying to kill him before we finally do, despite all the damage, because the Ariete just absolutely dumpsters this thing. Talk some shit in chat, he did the same thing, he said hi buddy as he was on my 6. It's all in good fun, GG, hope to see you in the comments. So we climb straight in, use the insane acceleration. and just kind of loiter over the battlefield and wait for everything to develop. Now, initially you will find some people that are slow, especially the subsonics. If you get down tiered, a lot of these planes can't really hang with you. If you are dogfighting something like a MiG-17 and you notice that you're losing, you can just break off and run away because the acceleration is just that much better. I am expecting this thing to go down in battle rating, not because it should, but because everyone I see playing this thing struggles pretty hard to get kills with it, and everyone just tries to go for ground units. So we kill the Hunter, we then one-tap the F-100, and we just kind of transition down towards the deck and look at everyone mowing the lawn. Who do I want to engage? Well, mainly I want to make sure that everyone comes from a singular direction, so I don't get completely boxed in. So I am going to work top to bottom and just look at people that are busy with something else, like that J-32 over there. So we have the F-40 over there on the left. We have a Javelin directly beneath us, and I want to engage him, but then I notice this massive red blob behind me, and I decide to actually check it. And it turns out it is another J-32B. He pushes me away, and you can tell that I dodge to the side where no enemies are located, and I try to re-engage the Javelin that is busy with the Yak-23, but the Javelin is kind of going head on with me, so I have to break off. I am gonna drop up over his nose, and then we just pull straight in and get the easiest shot known to man. The issue is that the second I shoot, I end up shooting exactly at the wing that just got taken off. So I kind of waste my ammo there, but I hope you can tell that the engagement there speaks for itself. Sub 105 shows up in front of me. He is going for the Yak-23, so I should be able to just kind of latch on and wait for him to pull lead. But he actually notices me and he starts going evasive. And Saab 105s are normally pretty annoying to hit. But when you have a gun that kind of does whatever you want, if you get close enough, it really is just a matter of lining it up, knowing the ballistics, and then you squeeze the trigger and you take his wing clean off. And that is kill number whatever, as we then dive back down onto the J-32 that kind of gave me a jump scare and pushed me away from the Javelin. Underlead a little there, but you can tell that I don't really have to worry about where I turn towards, as long as it's a small section of the fight. Of course, if there's multiple people around, I need to be very wary of that, but I'll show you exactly that in the next clip. That is actually the first game I ever did in the thing. Not much to talk about as I squeeze the trigger on the Red Warrior 6-7, as we just got 5 kills and an assist with about half my ammo left. Last guy here, kill number 6, it's the Shenyang F5, it's the premium one. So I just kind of fly up over him. I'm going about his top speed in a straight line, and I'm at a medium-ish altitude. I'm at about 1 kilometer. So we just go up, and you can tell that at this speed it doesn't turn necessarily that well. It's good enough, but it's not fantastic. And as he dives out and tries to extend, this plane is not fast, but it has good energy and it has good acceleration. So when you run into subsonics, even though they might outrun you if they go their absolute top speed, it's very easy to catch them as long as they are not maintaining set speed. So we just latch onto a 6, we squeeze the trigger, and that is kill number 6. Now this is the first time I play the thing, the first time I am shooting. G91 goes down, F100 on my 6, and we pull down here to pick up a little bit of extra speed. And I'm just waiting for that missile so I can pull out of the way. He didn't lead it properly, so I didn't even need to do that. So we pull in front of him, and against supersonics, I try to stay in front of them and try to bait them into the reversal, but often they won't try to take it and they will just try to run away. So I kind of just trundle after him, go towards the middle of the map where everyone is, and I notice the J6A, and I want him gone for a couple of reasons. He has good energy and is very fast, but he also has good missiles, and good missiles are the bane of your existence in this thing when you have to carry against multiple, especially supersonics, because once you start draining a little bit of speed, it's very hard to dodge the highly powered missiles, or at least highly powered for the battle rating. So we latch onto this guy, he's trying to do loops, and we are just kind of being left alive, so I am allowed to just kind of go slow, stick on him, and then start tap firing his way back to the hangar. He goes up, he gives me an easy shot, squeeze the trigger, get a hit, squeeze the trigger again, and he just completely explodes. And now the game starts to get interesting. The J6 is gone, we have a couple of F100s, we have an F104, we have a J72 I think, as well as a Q5. And these planes are annoying to deal with, but they don't turn necessarily well, and at medium to low speed, their retention is atrocious. So I'm actually able to out-sustain them because that is what this plane is actually pretty good at. Dogfighting supersonics in the Yak 130 is an absolute breeze as long as you do not get third party. So I noticed the other F100 coming in. I need to turn in here, I need to dodge that missile, I need to go nose on because otherwise that will 100% track. J7 comes in, need to be careful about the F100 because these guys are spacing themselves and really just boxing me in, and this is the main weakness of the vehicle. Well, obviously the speed and stuff as well, but this is one of the main scenarios that is really annoying to deal with, because they will just run you down, push you slow, they go vertical, and you are out of energy. And there is another guy, it's an F104. Q5 on the horizon, F100 goes vertical in front of me, and I know I can kind of go for him and kill him, but I will get third partied. So for now, I'm actually maintaining my energy. I'm not really turning in just yet. I'm waiting for the F100 to kind of settle in, so I can reverse the F100 and dodge him while turning with the other two guys that just engaged me. And this is very energy efficient because now I do a singular turn and basically deal with 3 people at the same time. So I'm trying to stay above 700 here. I know this is not the ideal speed range because it kind of turns into a brick, but they also can't handle sitting at this speed. My turning circle is smaller, my retention is better, and if I do that kind of maneuver, eventually everyone will kind of just float in front of me. I reverse my turn here to go for the F100. J7 does the same, but he's a little bit too slow, and we underlead. A little bit of an issue, but you can tell that we are still going about 600. We dodged the J7, that's another plane that's very annoying to aim, and I'm waiting to see if they take the fight or not. If I go straight here, I will pick up speed. I might be able to kind of reel in the F100 if he does something stupid, and the second I start going for him, he actually kind of panics and turns into the wrong direction, so we are going to squeeze the trigger and send him to the Shadow Realm, and then the J7 starts coming back. But there's another J7 too, there's another Q5, and we only have 37 rounds left, so this is going to be rather rough. But the plane can handle it, so we just kind of go head on, we turn into one direction, and we just kind of look at where they are going. You can tell that I'm straightening out here, I'm baiting the J7 into the shot. I want him to commit, so I'm waiting. When he pulls in, I pull in, and I actually kind of break his ankles, go underneath him, and start engaging the Q5. The Q5 is kind of annoying, it's annoying to deal with, but it's not necessarily very dangerous because it doesn't turn particularly well, and it doesn't actually have the scariest of guns. Again, trying to go flat, dodge the J7 in the same maneuver where I turn towards the Q5, and he is going like 2 speed. Click, there goes your wing. J7 tries to recommit, turn this into a 2v1, but I actually kill this buddy, and we get a pretty easy kill. Sorry for the recording, it stops being a recording relatively soon here, so just bear with me because it's a great showcase of what this plane can do. So we have an F4D on a 6, he breaks off. It's a plane that not necessarily counters us, but it's a strong plane and an annoying plane to play into, so I want him gone. He goes head on, we both wait very long with shooting, we both miss. He goes very slow here, and I noticed that, so I think, well, I'm actually going to turn around and get him out of the match, because then he starts going vertical for the MiG-15. So he gives me a very easy shot, and I'm going to take that because I don't want to deal with an F4D in the late game if I can help it. Now he's going super slow, we line up the guns, squeeze the trigger, we blow off his wingtip, you don't see the gun shoot because it's a replay half the time, it's kind of annoying. He's taken care of, he gets missiled by a friendly, and then we fly towards the middle of the map where the real start of this game, well, begins. So we have people everywhere. I'm going for the F3H first because he's the highest in this segment, so I don't have to waste any energy and I can just get a free kill out of the lobby. They're pretty easy to hit, but I am not quite able to line up my gun. Another F3H shows up on my 6 and I know that they don't have any retention. I'm going 900, he's not that much faster, so I'm just gonna stamp on the elevator and pull up over his nose and then see if I can go for one of the other F3Hs to get a free kill in. But then I notice the F104 coming for me, and the second I point at him, he decides to try and dodge the head-on. Doesn't really go according to plan, gets put onto a t-shirt, and I am now back on the F3H. But then we notice the G91, it's an R4, and I know that it's a premium player that is never going to leave me alone. So I can decide to fly away, but he's 100% going to turn after me and spam aim 9B. So instead, I decide to just take the fight and mop him up right here. Yes, it is dangerous. Yes, you can get third partied, but I'd rather get third partied than run into another guy with some dude slinging missiles while I'm in a dogfight. So the G91 gets a little bit distracted. He flies away and gives me his 6 again. And this gives me the opportunity to straighten out and pick up a little bit of energy. Now we have an F3H directly above. He's probably not coming down for me just yet, as there is another guy directly on my right with the MiG-15. So instead, I'm just going to ignore him for now and click the G91 out of the air. Now the F3H actually does come for me, and this is super sketchy. Luckily the plane is annoying to aim, and if you just jink a little bit here and there, you are probably going to get away scot-free. Now be careful if he's slow too, because if he gets enough time to shoot at you, he's probably not going to be missing. F104 passes over. I'm not really worried about him, but I think he's kind of slow. So instead of ignoring him completely, I thought, well, maybe he turns to the left and I get an easy shot in. But he doesn't. He turns to the right, and the G91 on the left comes in. And this is the issue about being boxed in, because anyone can take the fight. But here again, the exact same thing. It's a G91R4, I know he's going to be taking it, but this time around he's actually so slow that I can just run away. And then as I look forward, I notice the A4B, we invert around, we shoot 3 rounds and send him to the Shadow Realm. And this is when I realized that I wasn't actually recording. Dodge his missile and turn back towards Chili Peppers in his G91R4. F104 coming in, we have another guy on the horizon as well, F86 F2. As well as another guy that I don't know the designation of anymore, but we'll see that when we get there. G91 is going super slow, squeeze the trigger, down he goes. It's another F3H, my apologies. F104 behind is going for someone else. So for now I can straighten out, pick up a little bit of energy, and potentially dogfight the F2 or perhaps the F3H, depending on the way this match plays out. So we go head on here. It's an F2, so I do need to be careful, and this guy really wants to take the head on. That is very dangerous. I'm a pretty easy target to hit because it's very fat and thick. I try to go for the F2. F3H breaks off from its AI and kind of throws a wrench in the spanner here. So I need to disengage from the F2, go up under him, try to make him crash. Don't really end up working out on that department. But the F3H is now flying away, flying towards the MiG-17, and they kill him. And now we have an F104, an F3H and an F2 all in the same vicinity, which is kind of annoying. We go head on, we shoot, he really wants that head on, as I said. But I also really want to head on this F104, and that's exactly what we do. Draw a small line, we manage to hit him, does actually a decent amount of damage because he now needs to run away. I thought that the F2 turned the other direction, so I almost give him the shot. But instead of giving him the shot more properly, I'm going to disengage and set up for the reversal, because it's a little bit safer to do so. The roll rate is incredibly dangerous, but luckily he tries to peel off. And here is where the Yak 130 starts to shine a little bit, because now you can see how easily I will catch this F2. Now I am going to put it on 4x speed, but you can tell that I reel him in very quickly, and that is because, well, the acceleration is just that much better. Now I have 29 rounds, my aim has been good all day, so surely I am going to be killing this guy without much issue. But even though this thing is incredibly easy to line up, a rolling around F2 is still very annoying to deal with. So I'm on the 6, we get a hit there, and I'm just so close to him, and this is where the parallax and the position of the gun really started to mess with me, because this is the first time I really had this close range of a dogfight. So here we go vertical, and I want to talk about this. You saw that I was going over here. That is where his nose is going, and I noticed this halfway into the fight. So I break off, I separate, and I go back up. The F2 stalls nose down, so if I go up over his nose at this kind of energy, there is no chance in hell that he's going to be able to pull his nose up, because even though he might have the lift to do so, the nose just wants to tip over downwards and it will not let you do it. So now we have 8 rounds left, he has been hit, and we are riding his ass. Now he rolls out of the way, and I think, well, he might actually, yep, there he goes. F2 into the tree. He was respectful, nice fight, GG. On to the next one that was kind of BM, kind of funny, but GG nonetheless.